Echoes of Challenge, Seth Wolfman.
Thank you, Mr. Contest Master. Welcome, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Charlie Sposato was supposed to die on January 28, 1986. He worked for years to achieve the only available spot on the mission that would have killed him. Thousands of people competed for this spot. Charlie was one of 5 finalists, and he wanted to go very much. But he was not chosen to be the one, so he lived on. Charlie's serendipitous failure is one of the major reasons why you are hearing this speech today. Some might say that their education begins with their first day of school, or maybe on the day that they were born. My education begins with my first memory, the first experience that I can draw from on a conscious level. My first memory is of watching the Space Shuttle Challenger launch live on TV. I was 5 years old. I had never seen a space shuttle launch before, but boy, did I think it was great. I remember seeing 2 plumes of thick white smoke forking across a perfect blue sky. At the intersection of the 2 plumes, there came a brilliant burst of red flame. Then, the whole sky rained streams of white, like the end of a fireworks show. Wow, I thought to myself, space shuttles are awesome. That night, I watched the news with my parents. It was then I understood that the space shuttle had exploded and that all 7 crew members were dead. Let the education begin. I was in kindergarten, and growing up in Framingham at the time, I was a voracious reader. Every week, I'd go to the library down the street from my house, the Framingham Public Library, Saxonville Branch. I'd come home with a stack of books so tall and heavy that I'd drop half of them on the ground on my way home. I stuffed myself full of all kinds of great books, like Encyclopedia Brown, The Hardy Boys, and every biography of an athlete that the library had, from Jesse Owens to Babe Didrikson to Harrius. My insatiable reading habit is the most significant component of my development during my elementary school years. Krista McCullough also grew up in Framingham and attended Marion High School and Framingham State College. Krista was a teacher in New Hampshire when she entered and eventually won the Teacher in Space contest. She beat out over 11,000 entrants, including a top 5 finalist named Charlie Sposato. Krista was my first teacher because my first learning experience was watching her die. After the Challenger disaster, the Framingham Public Library Saxonville Branch was renamed the Framingham Public Library Krista McCullough Branch. Krista McCullough gave me lots of great books. Krista McCullough was an excellent teacher. Up through age 15, my personal knapsack became filled with the standard fare of a suburban American upbringing. School, soccer, music lessons, religious school. Then, I had a teacher who went above and beyond all of the norms. Charlie Sposato taught English in Framingham for 30 years. Spo, as we called him, was my freshman English teacher at Framingham High School. Spo's big idea for our class was personal odyssey because we were freshmen. We read books that fit the big idea, such as The Hobbit, The Odyssey, and 2001: A Space Odyssey. Our first essay was to write letters to ourselves as seniors. Spo returned the letters to us at graduation. Spo had us write an essay every week. I've never written so much nor improved so much in such a short amount of time. Spo had a quote framed on the wall of his classroom. "You can do it. This is important. I won't give up on you." I was never in danger of failing, but I really liked the quote anyway. I read it every day. Spo was everyone's favorite teacher. I'm very lucky to have had Spo, because he was this close to being on the Challenger instead of Krista. The same year that I was lucky enough to have Spo, my dad died of cancer. I am good at coming up with creative ways to make a good situation out of a bad situation, like with the Challenger. But I'm still working on my bad situation. In December of 2007, Charlie Sposato died of cancer. The beloved educator and top 5 finalist for the Teacher in Space contest was gone. Shortly before he died, he contacted me and wished me well. I had been a student 12 years earlier. I immediately considered this experience to be significant, but I was not yet sure how. In January of 2010, I was laid off from my corporate desk job. By now, my personal knapsack was filled with experience on how to make a good situation out of a bad situation. I took these experiences out of the knapsack and put them to use. The day after I was laid off, I applied to start substitute teaching at Framingham High School. I also began applying to graduate education programs. I hadn't been to school in 7 years. I needed a new knapsack. On January 28, 1986, Kristen McCullough and the Challenger crew gave me a knapsack. Since then, I have filled that knapsack with books, people, places, and moments. This past fall, I began teaching English full-time at Framingham High School. I teach in one of the same rooms where Charlie Sposato taught his freshmen about their personal odyssey. I teach freshmen and sophomores. On the wall of my classroom, I framed the quote, "You can do it. This is important. I won't give up on you." I think that Spo and my dad would be proud. Let the education begin. Mr. Contest.
Our second place winner in this evening, Seth Wolfman. You know, you are a teacher at Framingham Public Schools, and you did talk about the sign that you had on and the lessons that you try to tell your students about beyond English. But what, as a educator and somebody who's going to have these kids in your life for a year, what do you want to leave them with? What do you want them to say about you when the year is over?
Oh. What they say about me personally, I hope they give the same speech I just gave after I got